History is and what you've tried.
Sure. So I'm 34 years old. I've been doing martial arts and wrestling for a lot of my life. I have a disc herniation at C6, C7 in that disc, as well as some stenosis. So it's caused weakness in both arms. It's caused pain in my neck, around my scapula, and my trapezius. Prior to the Archlifter, I've tried physical therapy. I've been to chiropractors. I've had dry needling done. I've been on inversion tables, and I've even gone to see a regenerative medicine specialist who gave me platelet injections in between all of my vertebrae that have been affected, most of my cervical vertebrae and into my first thoracic vertebrae. And all these prior treatment methods have worked to a degree, but not to the extent that I would have wanted them to work. So I wanted to come to Ohio to give Archlifter a try. One of the things that I liked about the Archlifter is that you can control the degree of traction that you want as far as the force of the traction. So if I drop my weight and I lift my legs up off the ground, I can get almost 100% traction on my neck, or 100% traction on my neck, versus different methods of traction I've had in the past that would maybe only apply 10 to 20 or 30 pounds of traction force. I can adjust the angle of the Archlifter, which I liked, and it also gives me direct upward, complete upward traction, as opposed to when I've had manual traction in the past done by physical therapists. Basically, it only they grabbed me behind the back of the head, and it felt good, but it wasn't to the degree of the Archlifter, because it was just pulling me upward in kind of like a diagonal direction, as opposed to upward in a straight up and down direction. And the Archlifter, what it does is it has two areas of contact. It has a mouthpiece, which lifts the front of my skull upward, and it has a support in the back of the head, in the suboccipital area, to pull directly upward. So I'm getting pulled straight upward, as opposed to when I've had manual traction, getting pulled upward in a diagonal direction.
Okay. What kind of traction weight worked for you, or traction force, or what would you say? What would you tell somebody who's trying to Archlifter? How much force do they need?
Well, I would say that it would depend on the individual. I've got a relatively strong neck from all the years of sports that I've done and weightlifting, so I can't say that there's a one-size-fits-all answer. When I first tried the Archlifter yesterday, of course it's the neck, so I wanted to be pretty careful. So I didn't leave my feet. I gradually dropped my weight in my hips, and with each time that I used it yesterday, I started putting gradually more and more weight until I actually lifted my feet up off the ground, and then I would say yesterday evening, I was comfortable piking my feet up.
Okay. How far down your back did you feel the traction force?
I could feel adjustments. When I say adjustments, I mean like the popping or cracking sound. I initially felt 4 in my neck, and then I started feeling it. That was the first time I used it yesterday, and then I started feeling it in my mid-thoracic. And since then, as I've gotten more comfortable with it, I also felt it in my lower back, in my lumbar region.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And it's probably not as strong as, say, an inversion table would feel down there, but it's...
Correct. Well, I would say the difference is I have an inversion table in my house, and I use it regularly, and it's really good. And I would say I have a very healthy mid to lower back. Mm-hmm. All my issues in my cervical. However, with the inversion table, I really don't feel any benefit in my neck.
Okay.
Versus with the Archlifter, I felt it from my neck down into my lower back.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, and so would you say in poundage, do you have any idea, like you went to the weight machine, right? What kind of poundage did you use? How did you start out?
Well, the way that I started out with my workout partner was we took some 45-pound plates, and we used them as platforms to stand on it, and we actually attached it to the pull-up bar that was at the gym. Okay. And so we were able to manually create whatever sort of tension that we wanted. So we didn't hook it up to an actual cable, a pulley cable for the weights. I've seen that done previously, but we didn't do that. So I believe what my partner did, and I know what I did, was we gradually dropped the weight in our hips
Yeah.
and lowered our center of gravity to put tension on the traction device, on the Archlifter, and that ended up creating as much traction as we needed, to the point where I actually, like I said a few minutes ago, was able to pull my feet up off of it and raise my feet into the air to create, I was holding on to it with my hands, so it wasn't 100%, but it was close to 100% of my body weight. And I'm about 175, 180 pounds on a given day.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much.
No problem. And what I was going to say is, I would suggest for Archlifter just to reach out to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools, MMA schools, mixed martial arts schools, wrestling programs, football programs, powerlifting gyms, cross-lifting gyms, Olympic lifting gyms, any place where there's going to be a lot of tension or strain put on people's upper vertebrae, and even their mid to lower vertebrae as well. I mean, it created traction like I've never experienced before, and I'm really excited about the prospect of it, and the prospect of being able to have one in my house.
That's awesome. Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So when you create something out of your head like this, at first you don't know how people are going to take it.
Right.
And I'm so glad to see, my brainchild coming to life. Like
Yes.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is as close as dudes can have to having a baby.
No, that's true. I mean, it's your own creation, and you're nurturing it, and you're seeing it develop and flourish.
Yeah.
I think that I think it's a tremendous creation. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it, and it's felt significantly different from everything I've ever tried.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.